Hello and welcome back. So today I wanted to bring you a concept that has changed my world in honestly a matter of a few weeks. And as I've been observing this and implementing this, really everything has drastically changed for the better. So this concept is, what is your bare minimum? Raising your bare minimum. It's funny because my first YouTube video that I ever made actually was probably about this and in regards to standards with men and raising your standards. This is sort of the same concept, but I want you to not only apply this concept to your relationship or your dating life or anything like that. I've learned that this goes for everything. This goes for your entire world of how reality is showing up for you, for how you are manifesting anything. Because the way you do one thing is the way you do literally everything. So the way you're manifesting in one area is going to show up in every area. And this is your bare minimum. So what is your bare minimum? And how can we raise this? Because you manifest your bare minimum. So my husband's mentor, he runs an 8, maybe 9-figure business. I don't know, somewhere really up there, right? And I was watching one of a piece of content basically, and he made light of the fact that your life is basically this average bare minimum line. You don't really let yourself go below the bare minimum in your bank account. Like there's a number that you're pretty much always at, right? Or at least on average. In your relationship or around your house, like the clutter around your house, the state of your relationship, you don't really let it go underneath this certain level of bare minimum. And I found this so fascinating and true because in business or in relationships or in love, when you are manifesting and wanting to manifest more, wanting to get what you want, wanting your reality to show up differently, it's simply not going to happen whenever your bare minimum stays the same. When you don't raise your standards in love, in what you want to experience with love, with money, with relationship, with the cleanliness of your home, with your health, with your body image, your body weight, whatever it is. This all has a bare minimum that you maintain it at. And so the way to get what you want and really elevate your experience in any of these things, whether that be going from a 10K month to a 20K month in your business, or whether that be going from, your assumptions about love and men and how they show up for you and not being claimed and not getting what you want, not being provided for, in order to move into being shown up for, being provided for, being cared for, whatever it is that you want in that area. You must raise your bare minimum. Now, where I see this go wrong in the sort of dating space, right? Because so much of this dating advice is given by women who are, like, let's just talk about that area. Of course, this goes for the men's space too. Not even going to get into that. I don't watch that or consume that sort of content. I really don't consume content in general. I'm just remembering from the days that I did, this is what I experienced. This is coming from, first of all, a lot of women who are not married, who have not really been in at least a long-term relationship successfully. And a lot of this advice on raising your standards is coming from a space of protecting yourself and having these very protective mechanisms that are going to keep you from getting hurt, and you're always going to get what you want, and da-da-da-da-da. This doesn't work, because when we are in the state of being, as I've been talking about recently in my last few videos, of lack, or I never get what I want, or I have to protect myself, I'm not safe. Basically, that's the overarching one, right? I'm not safe. This isn't good enough. Men aren't good enough. This doesn't show up in my reality good enough. If that complete state is not shifted, then none of this is going to work. And so that's not to sound rude here, but just being raw and real, that's probably why a lot of these people are not married, are not in the relationship that they desire, but are still giving advice on this sort of stuff because they haven't shifted that state, right? They might understand this one little concept of it. But when you go in and you nitpick these little things where you're like, okay, well, I need to raise my standard with men, or I need to raise my standard around this one thing and hyper focus on it, but you're still in a state of lack of safety, of not feeling shown up for, like whatever that state is for you. If you don't shift the complete state, these things might change for a little bit, but really it's going to go right back down to, like I was saying, that bare minimum line. So what's the bare minimum that you accept in relationships, in love? Is it, what honestly what this really is what are you capable of receiving? What's your receiving capacity? Is it a date a week? Is it flowers once a month? I'm just giving like these tangible examples here. Is it a certain depth of intimacy? Is it maybe you attract a boyfriend, but you really, really desire a husband and no one's proposing to you, or, you aren't allowing yourself into the depth of full commitment in marriage, whatever it is for you. Notice where your bare minimum is, and that's how things will always show up for you. So how do we shift the bare minimum, right? How do we raise that bar? And even in money and business, you can see this. You always hit 5K a month. You always hit 10K a month. It's like a no-brainer at this point. And that's just your bare minimum. This really blew my mind whenever it came to money, is that, oh, I can choose my bare minimum number for money. Like, of course, now in my business, 10K always shows up for me. It blew my mind, right? So how do we shift this? What you need to do is, in order to, I want to say shift this permanently. Obviously, this is something we're going to be continuing to come back to, because your past states will kind of try to come in, and I don't want to say sabotage you, but they will try to come in and be seen again, to be reborn, to come back and live. But we don't want that to happen. We want to have that bare minimum raise for good. And it will eventually. It just takes time of coming back, right? So what we need to do is completely shift the state of being. It is a complete state. What you are going to get from that state, what's going to show up for you in your 3D reality, is going to be complete from that state in all areas. So instead of looking at, oh, I want this from a man, I want this from this exterior source, I want this amount of money, what we want to do is actually shift the state that we're in into, let's say, a higher one, right? I don't know if higher vibrational is the right word to use here, but in that next level state of being, whatever that is for you. For me, the way I can look at this is a next level of receiving. That's what this all is like, how much more can I receive? And so when we shift into that and we notice, like, what's our bare minimum in this state? If I was capable, if I was the woman who was already making $100,000 a month in my business, or if I was already the woman who, and I noticed this in myself too, right? Whenever I went from fiance to married, or whenever I went from dating to fiance to married, well, I had to raise my bare minimum in order to do that. And I didn't know I was doing it at the time, but it was my state of being. So I look back on that now and I see that that's exactly what I did. When it comes to business, it's much easier for me personally to see it in like these tangible numbers, I guess. So I'll give an example in that. When it comes to business, when you're already being the woman who has the 10K month, who has the 20K month, who has the 100K month, well, each of those bare minimums are very, very different. And each of those have raised not because, and this is where myself included, so many people will go wrong, is that it's not because I focused on the money. It's not because I focused on not having it yet. It's not because I focused on how do I get this? How do I manifest this? How do I attract this? That's still the illusion of separation there. Remember in the last video, I talked about being complete in the manifestation. And so what this really is that when your bare minimum raises, your inner world and your inner state has already shifted to one where that bare minimum is met, where it's complete, where you already have the husband, where you're already married, where you're already loved to the degree that you desire to experience, where you already have the 20K month, where it is complete. And the more that we come back to that and sit in that and enjoy it, hopefully, right? We don't want this to be something that's, I have to do this because my life should look like this, even though it's not enjoyable to me. No. Of course, we can all fall into that trap. It's not fun. And it's also not powerful at all. But in your preference, right? Whatever that looks like for you, whatever your preference is to experience, this bare minimum will continue to rise as you continue to shift back into and come back to the experience internally of it already complete. So that can be a little bit of a mind fuck, honestly, and it takes a lot of very radical self-responsibility. This is not for the people, the women, I mean, this is for anyone really, but this is not for the people who want to blame anything outside of themselves, who want to blame their money situation, their bank account, their love life, any of that on exterior circumstances. This is going to not work. It's not going to. But if you are the type of person who wants to take that radical responsibility and continue to come back to it and see how your world changes, then this gets to be an amazing experience, an amazing tool. And honestly, what it really is just the truth of how you get to raise that bare minimum for yourself. So you get to experience more because you want to, because it's fun, because it's powerful, because it's like your birthright too. I mean, you can sit around and, you are the power. So you can continue to manifest more of what you don't want. That's still showing you that you get what you focus on because you're focused on the separation. So it's still power, but it's probably not the enjoyable sense of it that we really want to tap into. So with that being said, I am hosting a free masterclass on May 10th. Tentatively May 10th, because I am going to give birth soon in the next month or so. I'm definitely feeling myself start to slow down. I've gone into the nesting phase and it's amazing. It's a very interesting experience. But anyways, the masterclass is tentatively on May 10th. I might do it earlier, might do it later, but go ahead and sign up so you can receive the updates for that. It's going to be all about manifestation, all about what we've been talking about and just diving into it so much deeper. So I'm very excited to share that with you and see you there. So go ahead and sign up so you don't miss any date changes or anything like that. But yes, I know many people have been asking on updates. No, I have not had my baby yet. I've been doing a natural pregnancy, so I don't have like a due date. Even if I did, the baby would come when the baby comes. So that's what we are waiting on. And yeah, I feel it so soon. It's going to happen so soon. And I'm very, very excited. But yeah, I mean, I will try to also pre-record a few videos so that I still get some content out and queued up during this next month of like uncertainty. But I'm very excited. And I do have one more slot open for one-on-one clients. Of course, there may be a few weeks of break in this, but if you are interested, definitely apply below. I'll leave a link for that as well. And as I am posting this today, I actually have a bundle that includes all of my courses and all courses that I actually don't even offer anymore. So you get all of that and then future ones as well. And that is going away tonight. So if you're seeing this tomorrow or the next day, yeah, it's gonna be gone, but I do have one spot left for that. If you get it today, and if you're seeing this in divine timing, then you will also get 2 bonus one-on-one sessions with me. Very excited about that, but those will expire mid-May because I just don't want to, have that be something that is potentially going into the birth time. So very excited about that. Definitely claim that. I have one spot. Once that is claimed, it will be gone. And other than that, I will leave any other announcements in the description box. I love y'all so much, and I will see you in the next one.